Hello friends, welcome to this video on distance and displacement. Before I get into the numerical problems, I would like to differentiate between distance and displacement as I have often seen many students getting confused with these two terms. If you are new to my channel, be sure to subscribe so that you won't miss out on any of my new videos that I will be uploading every week. Now, coming to distance and displacement, let's begin with an example. Now, in our example, imagine we are in point A, okay? And we have to go over here. Let's just say this is point F, all right? So I can just go from here to there, but imagine if I have to travel my way around this. So from point A, let's just say that I went all the way to point B, okay, which is, let's say, I don't know, maybe 2 kilometers, okay. And then from point B, I go straight to point C, which is again maybe 2 kilometers, okay. And from point C, I go to D. This would be a D, and this would be again 3 kilometers or 4 or whatever number you wish to give. You can give that number. And then from D to E, and again from E to F right there. So we can give a number to this as well. So let's just say that's about 1 kilometer, or maybe this one is also 1 kilometer. All right. So just so that I could get to point F, I had to go all my way around. So from point A, I went to point B, to C, D, E, and finally F. So what do you mean by distance in that case? Let me just write the word distance here. So distance is nothing but the length of the path, taken by an object. All right. So in this case, my total distance would be this number over here, this plus this plus this plus this plus this. That would give me a total distance. So it's the total length of the path taken by an object. So an object in this case would be you or me, all right, standing right over here, and I want to get to F, for which I had to travel from A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, and E to F. Okay, so this is my total distance. So my total distance is going to be a sum of all the paths taken. All right. Now, what do you mean by displacement? So displacement is basically your initial position and your final position, the difference between these two. So it's the distance between where the object started and when it ended, wherever it ends. So in this case, it ends up at this point F. So this would be my displacement right over there. So this line is my displacement. All right, once again, I'll just repeat this. Displacement is nothing but the distance between where the object started and where it ended up. So it doesn't really take into account all the other paths, as you can see. Whereas in distance, it takes into account the entire total path. So you need to add up this number with that number and all the numbers. You just add up all the distance and then you get the total distance. But displacement is the distance between the initial position and the final position. So as you can see, this looks like a very small number. If you were to measure that, it's definitely going to be less than the total distance. And that's what it is. Displacement will be lesser or equal to the distance. Well, what do you mean by equal? Let's just say that you started out, we'll just use the same example. We started off at A, okay, And then this time we just have to go to F, right? And we don't take any of the other routes. We just go straight. So we just go like that. That's it. And maybe this would have, let's just put a number to this distance. Let's just say that it's 5 kilometers. Okay. We did not go anywhere else. We didn't go right or left. We just went from point A to point B. In this case, it's point A to point F. So the total distance is definitely 5 kilometers. Okay. And what about displacement? As I told you initially, that displacement is the distance where the object started and where it ended up. So we started at point A and we ended up at point F. And in this case, the displacement is going to be 5 kilometers. So as you can see, displacement can be equal to the total distance. All right. Unlike our previous example, in this case, displacement, I'll just write it over here. Displacement is lesser than distance. Okay. And in this case, we can say that displacement is equal to distance. All right. Now that we know what is distance and displacement, let us differentiate properly. Okay. So number one, distance is the length of the path taken by an object. All right. Whereas displacement is the distance, it's also a distance between where the object started, where the object started and where it ended up. Okay. Now another distinction that we can make is that it is a scalar quantity. Distance is a scalar quantity. And what do you mean by that is that it only depends on the magnitude. Okay, it only depends on the magnitude. That's the number, like 50 kilometers or 500 kilometers, 250 kilometers. That's the magnitude. It's just a number. So distance is a scalar quantity. It depends on the magnitude, not, it depends on the magnitude, but not on the direction. Not the direction. It doesn't depend on the direction. It can be anywhere. It doesn't have a particular direction. Okay. Whereas displacement, we call it a vector quantity where it depends on both. Okay. So it depends on magnitude and direction. So a vector quantity means that it has magnitude and a direction. So let's just say that magnitude would be like 20 kilometers and direction would be towards the east. So it has some direction and it also has a magnitude. That's what we call as a vector quantity. Whereas a scalar quantity, it actually means magnitude. It doesn't have any direction. That is for the distance. Now, the third one is that distance can have positive values, okay? Whereas displacement can be positive, can be negative, and even zero. All right. So, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that displacement can be zero? Well, let's just say that you have started from point A and you go to some place which is at point B and you turn back again and you finally came back to point A. All right. So according to our definition of what displacement is the distance between where the object started. So we started from here. This was the initial point. And where it ended here as well. It ended at the same place. So if you started with something, let's just say 0, and then you went all the way to point B, which is about 20 kilometers, and then you once again turn back, you travel 20 kilometers back, and you reach this final position, which is going to be 0 again. Okay, so 0 minus 0 is just 0. So in this case, displacement can end up being a 0 value.